Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. And what I'm doing right now is we're setting up another truck modification, and this modification is super important, and it's actually costing a little bit more money than I thought, but it's going to be worth it in the end. What we're doing is we're installing a 50-watt radio in the truck. And it's not a CB radio, it's a UHF, VHF radio. It's like a ham radio in your truck. And we're doing this for a couple different reasons. One reason is that if you start looking at going on Raptor runs, whether it's with the Raptor off-road community or with Texas Raptor runs or doing a Baja Raptor run, which is what I really want to do, one of the main requirements for these groups and for other groups like it throughout the country is that you must have a 50-watt radio in your truck. So we're not talking about walkie-talkies here, and we're not talking about a CB radio or your cell phone, which may or may not work and is not very powerful anyway. To give you an idea, the transmitter in your cell phone is probably half a watt or less. So this is 50 watts, so this is at least 100 times more powerful than your cell phone is. And the reason for that is when you're out in the boondocks and the dust is flying, if you crash, you have to have a way of communicating with the guys running, that are organizing and running the run, so they can get the chase vehicles to you to get your rig repaired and take care of whatever the problem is. So that's a big safety thing. The second reason for this, and equally important, is for emergency preparedness. And there's a big ham community up here in the Puget Sound where I live, and surprisingly it's mostly a bunch of geeks from the big software companies like Google and Microsoft and Facebook and all them. And the reason that you want radio for that is that radio works. Radio doesn't need wires. It doesn't need cell towers. It doesn't need any of that. If you have this, you can communicate with somebody that's far away, 30 miles that way or more, without any landlines at all. So in light of that fact and me doing it for that reason, I had this radio set, and this is an Icom 2730A radio. Here's the body of it, which is going to actually, this will mount under the front seat, and here's the face plate, which this will mount up on my sunglass holder, and we'll see this install after it's done. I bought all this stuff from an outfit called Gigaparts, and they did on this radio, before they shipped it to me, they did what's called a Mars upgrade, which stands for military something something something, but basically it gets you all, I can send and receive on all the emergency channels, military channels, civilian, first responder channels, the whole bit, all of it. I can not only listen, I can respond, okay? And that's an upgrade on this radio set. This gear here together, all together with the radio and the bracket for under the seat, and the radio included this guy here. And then we've got, this is our temporary antenna. It's just a magnetic one. We're actually going to get a permanent antenna mount, which will be replacing the third brake light, and it has it has off-road lights on the rear, and then it'll have an antenna mount right on the top of it, but that's a little expensive for me right now. And I got a Bluetooth headset and software upgrades that'll allow this radio to play through the stereo system in the truck. So altogether, the parts for this thing were just under $700. And I got my estimate for the install this morning and made my appointment. And that was a little bit more money than I thought. The install is running me about $1,000. So I'm kind of, I'm not happy with the increased cost, but I think I'll be real happy with the product in the end. So for right now, that's where we're at, and we will bring you back and show you the rest of this thing and how it all works together once we get her done. Hey everybody, so I showed you the parts before they'd been installed. Since then, the radio's been installed in the truck. It was installed by Car Toys down in Bellevue, and it's a real slick installation. I'm real happy with it. Let's open up the door and take a look. So first things first, you can kind of see the microphone right there. This is a real slick installation, and I'm going to point down here. That box under there, that is the main body of the radio right there. And right now I've got my mic plugged in down here to the body so that I can, and I have this hook right here on the side so that the driver has full control of the radio, right? Now the faceplate of the radio is mounted right up there on my visor. So I'll jump in and I'll show you what's going on. This radio is wired straight to the battery of the truck, both positive and negative. And let's turn it on. We're on a weather channel right now. This is a UHF/VHF radio. And there's a separate microphone jack on this side of the radio right over here. And I can unplug the mic from down there and just plug it in here. It's just like it's like an Ethernet jack, basically. Just like a big phone jack. Works real slick. But we're in the middle of the COVID right now, so I haven't been able to get a ham class to get my license. There's a local group that does it, and I'm going to be doing it with them as soon as possible. So this is the end of part 1. When I can get back with this thing and I get my permanent antenna mount, I will show you the rest of it in part 2. Thanks for watching.